I want to tell you a little bit about my story really quick. That way we can get connected. I want to tell you I grew up here in the amazing, my wife is from the beautiful country of Jamaica, and I'm from the country of Texas, okay? I'm from that nation, that great state nation of Texas. I grew up there, as you can see, very animated. I love Raul's shoes back there because his shoes represent my personality, right? Just absolutely boisterous, absolutely over the top. I love being in front of people, love talking to people. But I want to tell you a little bit more intimate things about me, is that here you see me and my mother at my wedding almost 16 years ago. And you know what that makes me? I am a certified mama's boy. Any mama's boys out there right now? All right, okay, many of you are like, I'm not gonna say it, But I'm a certified mama's boy. And the reason why I'm a certified mama's boy, because my mom had me when she was 19 years old. How many 19-year-olds do we have in the house right now? 19, okay, we got one, okay. All right, Raul is still 19 at heart, okay, very good. So 19, he's been 19 two times. Well, 19 years old, and the reason why that is so important for you to understand is because my mom went to prom with her high school sweetheart, and then 9 months later, here comes this deep, dark, chocolatey epidermis that you see in front of you today. 9 months later. But the reason why I tell you that is because my mom had an opportunity either to start or apply herself. She had an opportunity to stop or to actually go to the next level. And what she did, and I love the fact that she did this, she actually applied herself. She could have stopped in her track and said, you know what, have every excuse in the world not to go further. Have every excuse in the world not to make anything of myself. But she said, you know what, I'm gonna start where I am. And you know what she started? She started at Sonic. Have y'all been to Sonic lately? She started at Sonic. Now back in the 80s, the late 1900s, okay? There's this thing called Sonic, and in order for you to actually get your food, they would come out on rollerblades. You remember that, Brother Rick? They came out on rollerblades. And so she was one of those people that came out on rollerblades. And you know what? She said, you know what? This is not good enough. I have a bigger dream than just this. So she actually got a job at Kroger, which is like Ralph's. It's a grocery store. And she became a cashier. But she said, you know, this is not big enough. She said, I got to do something more. I got to apply myself. You know what she did? She found a brand new business that was coming into Houston, Texas, called Academy Sports and Outdoors. And you know what? She started in that particular store actually folding clothes for $4.10, which was the minimum wage back then. And she said, you know what, this is still too small. I want something bigger. She applied herself and she actually went to the next level, became a cashier. And she said, you know what, this is not big enough. She became a cashier supervisor. She said, it's not big enough. So she became a manager. She said, that's not big enough. And I can tell you to this date, she has been on the corporate and in the executive suite office of Academy Sports and Outdoors for over 33 years. Somebody give my mom a big hand clap. And the reason why I tell you that is because it's about applying yourself and not getting stuck in average. Not getting stuck with your circumstance that you see right now. Maybe you are 19 years old. Maybe you are 49 years old. What I gotta tell you today is that you have enough to start right now. Somebody say right now.
Right now.
You have enough to start right now. And that's what my mom did. She began to apply herself and she started where she was and she had a bigger dream. She had a bigger vision. This next picture that you see right here is my mom, of course, married my stepfather at that particular time when I was about 2 years old. My dad actually came out of a bad background of drugs and alcohol, and he began to change around his life, and he used to actually work for a dealership. And you know what? He had a dream. He said, you know what? I'm tired of washing these cars for someone else. I actually want to start my own business and start owning my own time. And you know what he did? At 10 years old, I remember he started our family business detailing cars. And that's what you see right here. And you can go back, you can go to the next slide right here. It says, I started here because I remember I was 10 years old when we started this business. You know why I know that? It's because my dad yanked me off the couch because I was trying to watch Spider-Man and Superman and Power Rangers and all those things on Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning cartoons. Does anybody remember Saturday morning cartoons? Yes. Right? Weren't those the best? I told my wife the other day, I said, man, I just want to sit down and watch some cartoons for a second, you know? But he yanked me off that couch and he said, you know what? I want you to help me and I want you to start with me and I want us to build this business. Well, and initially we started going around our neighborhood We started going around our neighborhood, talking to our neighbors and knocking on doors. And our goal was this, to earn at least $300 to $500 per weekend. That was our very, very minimal. Actually, if we earned $500 that weekend, it was amazing. Well, fast forward 5 years, I became 15 years old, and that small business actually turned into a large business where before we were knocking on people's doors, hoping to wash their cars, hoping to detail their cars, to 5 years later, actually having dealerships, business parks, credit unions, and everybody else knocking on our doors. Our business went from earning only $500 per weekend to earning well over $1 million per year in just 5 years. Come on, give my dad a big hand clap. And the reason why I tell you that is because you have enough to start when? Right now. Whatever you have, wherever you are, you have the ability to gain the momentum that you need in order to accelerate towards your vision right now. And so I learned so many things from my mom. I learned so many things from my father. And I said, you know what? I want to actually not just start my own business. My very first business that I started outside of his business was in college. While I was a student at Oral Roberts University in my sophomore year, I actually started my business. And guess what? Guess who was my first employee? My wife. And we started this business, and I said, you know, I really want to empower entrepreneurs. I really want to share my story with leaders. I really want to share that it's possible for you to move from where you are to where you want to be. And it does not matter the amount of money you have, the amount of education you have, but it does matter the amount of vision you have. Somebody scream vision.
Vision.
Vision. Vision is so important, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. And so we've started there, but this is what it's turned into. I've been able to stand on stages like this. I've been able to have my own TV show talking about kingdom business. I've been able to write my own book. I've been able to counsel, as you heard, some coaches and executives and leaders and governmental leaders, and it's been amazing. I've been able to absolutely serve many of these companies right here, and I have the privilege and the honor of serving this room today. So I've been able to do wonderful things, been able to do great things, but it's not about me. Today it's really about you. It's about you getting out of your comfort zone. It's about you stopping all of the excuses of why you cannot be successful. It's you stopping looking at all of the things that you have around you, and it's time for you to focus. Somebody say focus.
Focus.
It's time for you to focus. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down on your notes. And if you're writing notes, write this down. If you're not writing notes, write this down. Okay? You will go as far as your vision will take you. You will go as far as your vision will take you. See, I have a big vision for my life. I have a big idea for my life. I have a big purpose for my life. And I hope that you have the same thing. I hope that you're not here just to try to get a couple of principles so that you can go through a process and think that, oh, I'm going to be a multimillionaire next week. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to go through a process. I hope that you're ready to go to the next level. I hope that you're ready to expand your vision, because there's 3 different types of dreams that you can actually live. Can I just give this to you really quick? It's not going to be on the slide, so you're going to have to write this down. There's 3 different types of dreams that you can live. Number one, you can live their dream. Somebody say their dream.
Their dream.
Their dream. Now, this is what their dream is, and I'll capsulize it by saying this. I've met so many doctors that don't want to be doctors. I've met so many lawyers that don't want to be lawyers. I met so many physicians. I met so many pastors that don't want to be pastors. I met so many people that are in the profession that they are in that they do not want to be in, but because someone else had a dream for them, they're now living someone else's dream. Now, this is very important because there are people that go to college, that get a degree, that are not supposed to be in that degree. They're not supposed to be there. And you know what their dream does? It does 2 things. It expects from you and it demands from you. It expects that you do things that you're not wanting to do, and it demands you to become something that you are not supposed to be. And so don't live their dream. The second type of dream is your dream. Somebody say, my dream.
My dream.
Your dream is exciting. It does two things. It excites you and it drives you. It's wonderful. It's exciting. It's something that you've always wanted to do. It's something that maybe you've seen somebody else do and say, you know what, I can do that too. And you go after it and you go after it. But here's the thing. The ultimate thing, if we really are very, very serious with ourselves, our dream really is self-centered. It's about me having enough money. It's about me having enough cars. It's about me having enough freedom. It's about me, myself, and no more. But you gotta live a higher dream. Somebody say a higher dream. This is the third different types of dream. You gotta live a higher dream. The higher dream does two things. It expands you and it develops you. It expands you out of your comfort zone and it develops you to really truly be who you are called to be. Let me tell you something. This dream that I have, and this dream and this vision that you have to go after it. It's easy to live somebody else's dream. It's easy to live your dream, but it's very difficult for you to live a higher dream because the higher dream actually has you at the very end. It's about putting others first. It's about truly making sure that you're putting your products and your services and your business ideas out there for the betterment of all who will actually participate in your business. That's what this higher dream is all about. But I want to talk to you about getting that higher dream, but I want to talk to you about accelerating. How many of you like to go fast? How many of you like to go fast? How many of you like to go slow? How many of you are not going to vote regardless of what I say? Okay, all right, no problem at all. It's all good. But here's the thing. I'm in the room. If there's somebody in the room that wants to go fast, say yes.
Yes.
If there's somebody in the room that wants to go fast, I'm here to say yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to talk about going faster. We're going to talk about accelerating towards that vision. We're going to talk about accelerating towards that goal. Like I told you, I'm from the country of Texas. In Texas, there are no mountains. There's no hills where I'm from. The highest thing in the sky that you see is a skyscraper, okay? So when I landed here 13 years ago in Ontario, I don't know if I failed geography class or not, but I had no idea that California had mountains. I'm serious, like I must have failed it, I guess, because when I landed in Ontario, I saw the big Mount Baldy. I was like, there's a mountain in the sky. Like, I mean, it's like me seeing a legend or something. I was so excited. But I remember connecting with, about 2 years into me being here, we've been here only 13 years, about 2 years being here, I connected with my mentor. My mentor has a 120-acre resort up in Idlewild Mountains. And so I've never driven up a mountain before. How many of you have ever driven up a mountain before? Now, y'all are from probably California, so you're like, oh, it's just normal. Not me. As I'm driving up this mountain, it's saying that I could go about 45 miles per hour, Rick, and I'm going about 35 miles per hour because I'm not about to fall off the side of this mountain. And I don't know what it is about California. Do you guys not believe in rails? As you're going up the mountain, you know what I mean? Like, you would think, like, okay, put a rail right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving so close to the edge and I can literally see my demise, off the side of the mountain. And so I'm going 35 miles per hour. And you know what? People are passing me up. They're going around me. They're beeping. They're honking. They're giving me half of a peace sign. You'll get that later. And I'm like, I'm not about to fall off this mountain because I know where I want to go, but I'm going slow because I've never been here before. And then what makes matters worse is that I run into this right here. Oh my gosh. Fog on the mountain. You're basically driving through a cloud. Like how do I've flown through a cloud before, but driving through a cloud is something different. And you know what I did? I stopped going 35 miles per hour. I started going 30 miles per hour. And how many of you know there's some people that were still giving me not just one half of a peace sign, but two half of a peace signs as they're going around me. Well, here's the thing. I knew where I wanted to go, but it was foggy. I knew where I wanted to go, but it was difficult. I'd never been there before. So I was going a little slow. And I was slowing down because I did not want to make, get this, a mistake that will lead to devastation. But here's the thing, when it comes down to entrepreneurship, you cannot allow the fog to stop you. You can't allow the new terrain to stop you. You cannot allow the new environment to stop you. You have to keep on going. Somebody tell your neighbor, keep going.
Keep going.
You got to keep going, because as I kept going, guess what happened? As I got to 3,000 feet, as I got to 4,000 feet, as I got to 5,000 feet, as I got to 7,000 feet, I'm like, this is wild and this is crazy. But as I kept going, you know what I did? I hit this right here. Woo! Somebody put your hands together for that right there. I'm so excited because as I continue to go through the fog, as I continue to go through the uncertainty, as I continue to get out of my comfort zone, I was able to get to a clear patch. And let me tell you, I've experienced this in flight, where you fly through the clouds and then all of a sudden you enter into a brand new stratosphere. But never have I driven through something like this, and it was so beautiful. And you know what I was able to do? I stopped going 30 miles per hour, and I stopped going 35 miles per hour, and you know what I did? I went 37 miles per hour. Because here's what I know, and it's something that I hope that you write down, and I hope that this stays with you for the rest of your life. As an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a business owner, as a coach, as an administrator, you're gonna go through foggy times. You're gonna go through things that you really would not like to go through. You probably didn't grow up going through, and that's totally fine. But if I can leave you with one thing today, I wanna leave you with this particular nugget right here. Where there is clarity of vision, there is acceleration towards the goal. Write that down. Where there is clarity of vision, there is acceleration towards the goal. Once you get clear on where you want to go, once you get clear of the obstacles, once you clear that, you know what? I'm actually doing this. I'm not going to let anybody stop me. I'm not going to let anybody deter me. I'm not going to let anybody talk me out of it. I have a vision, and because I have a vision, I can accelerate towards where I actually want to go. And so we're going to talk about accelerating your vision in my last 20 minutes. And this is where I get a chance to really kind of train a little bit. It's not enough for me just to inspire you. It's not just enough for me just to give you information, but I must make an impact with you. I got to give you some tools. Now, I know that today is filled with people that are going to give you amazing tools, amazing nuggets, amazing best practices. And I want to add my 2 cents in as well. Is that okay? Say yes or yes. Yes. Very, very good. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here's where we're going to talk about accelerating your vision. Now, how many of you have ever experienced this before? You have this wonderful idea, right? It's a breakthrough idea. Nobody in the world has ever done it before. Or they've never done it like this. Has anybody ever had an idea like that before? Hey, I have this idea for education, I have this idea for a product, I have an idea for a service. This is going to be breakthrough. And what happens? You get excited all of 3 and 4 months, and you're excited, and you're dialed in, and you're talking about it, and you're writing about it, you're dreaming about it, and then all of a sudden, life starts lifing. Right? Has anybody had life to life them? I mean, I know that I'm looking at some survivors who had life happen to them in 2020. Remember 2020 is supposed to be the year of vision? Y'all remember that? Way back in 2020? This is going to be my year. This is the year we're going to get out of the prize. This is the year that I'm going to get that degree. This is the year that I'm going to start that business. I'm excited. And then life starts lifing. And what happens is that you pump the brakes and you pull over to the side to deal with life. And life starts happening, and you're dealing with life, and it's great, and it's wonderful, and it's exciting. But the reality is that you look up when you're ready to start again. You look it up. Maybe it's on TikTok. Maybe it's on Instagram. Maybe you're at a networking event like this, and you end up meeting somebody, or you're scrolling through something. And you say, "Hey, wait a minute! That's my idea." So what happened? It's because we all have ideas. We all have visions. We all have wonderful things that we desire to do, but here's the thing. They turned it into a vision while you still had it as an idea. That's what I want to help you do today. I want to help you turn your ideas into vision, because here is, I believe, the greatest tragedy in life. I don't believe that the greatest tragedy in life is death. I believe that the greatest tragedy in life, hear me very closely, is to meet the person that you should have been. to be a customer in the business that you should have started. Here's the thing. To be a guest in the wedding of the person that you should have married. How many of you know that's somebody say that's deep? That's deep. And here's the thing. Most people miss out on wonderful, amazing opportunities because they could not turn their idea into vision. Do y'all remember this dinosaur of a business? Years ago, late 1900s, so many people were lining up outside of their doors to go and actually see this wonderful product and service that these people had. It was something, I don't know if you maybe read it in your history book, called Blockbuster. Y'all remember Blockbuster nights? All right, now what happened to Blockbuster? Blockbuster had a wonderful idea, but then Netflix came around and said, we're gonna turn that idea into a vision that is sustainable. And see, that's the reason why we gotta talk about this, okay? I gotta go fast. You all ready to go fast?
Yes.
All right, so here's the reality. So here's the thing. Now, when you see these people on the screen, you see the Brazilian president right there on your left-hand side. You see Oprah in the middle. You see the creator of Spanx, Sarah Blakely. You see Bezos. You see Tesla. It's not Tesla. I call him Tesla. You see Elon Musk. You see Kevin Hart. Now, let me ask you this question. What do these people all have in common? In their particular respective spaces, they have something in common with one another, and they have something in common with you and I. And if you and I would truly get a grasp on what they have and what you have, I guarantee you that your business, your leadership, your organization is going to go to the next level. You know what they have? They have this. Say, what? They have a nice home? They have a nice pool? No, that's not what they have. It's not that. They really have this. You know what that's called? It's called perspective. Somebody say perspective.
Perspective.
They have perspective. Write that down for your notes. Perspective. You and I have something in common with them. There's nothing that is different between them and you because you and I have perspective. You see, when we're looking at Oprah Winfrey, we're seeing at her having a perspective of interviewing people that people would like to get to know, or people that don't want, or people that people don't want to actually interview. She's interviewing those people. When you're looking at Jeff Bezos, he said, you know what? I got wind that this internet sensation was about to take off, that the internet was growing at such a great speed. I want to give my perspective to actually start selling books online. And we see what Amazon has grown into today. Everybody say perspective.
Perspective.
Perspective. Perspective is so necessary. Perspective is so powerful. Go to the next slide, because your perspective matters. As you go through today, you're gonna experience a lot of information. You're gonna meet a lot of people. Some ideas are gonna spark. Maybe some ideas are even sparking right now. I see some of you writing feverishly because maybe some ideas are sparking right now. Maybe some inspiration is coming through right now. Well, I want to let you know, if you add your perspective, it creates a difference in the actual marketplace, and you literally stand out. Here's the thing. Do not try to be like everybody else. Only be like you. Don't be like anybody else. Be like you. Your perspective is different, and it actually matters. Here's the next thing. Here's the truth about ideas. Ideas are a product of a great thought or concept or system, and it's inspired by a lack of apparent service, product, or strategy. And get this, it's often a reflex of an existing problem. How many of you have ever had an idea happen as a result of a problem that you saw around you, right? Let me see a show of hands, right? But here's the thing. This is what I've learned about ideas. Ideas are actually the product of a problem and your perspective. Right? It's wonderful. It's exciting. You have an idea. Let's give you kudos for that. Wonderful. But here's the thing about go ahead. Yeah, give yourselves kudos for the idea. That's good. We can give you kudos for the idea, but here's the thing. There's the problem. There's a problem with just having an idea. There's a problem with just having a great thought. Here's the next thing. That ideas do not equal strategy. This is why you must push through. Now, this is the fogginess. Whenever you get your idea, whenever you get your concept, There's going to be fog. There's going to be life. There's going to be people that are going to be haters. There's going to be people that are going to not like you. There's going to be people that are going to disassociate with you. That's okay. That's just the fog. Ideas do not equal strategy. Go to the next thing. You're thinking about this. You're brainstorming. You're getting in the weeds. Go to the next one. But here's the next thing when it comes down to your ideas. It's okay for you to start your idea, but you have to implement your idea. Do you know the wealthiest place in the world? Shout it out to me. Huh? Shout it out. I can't. Y'all are whispering. Japan, Dubai, the cemetery, right? Because I already gave you a context clue, right? Really, the wealthiest place in the earth is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It's not the gold mines. It's not Beverly Hills. It's not Rodeo Drive. It's not any of those things. It is the graveyard. It's the cemetery. Why? Because great ideas, great businesses, great concepts, cures that could lead and change the world are actually buried in the cemetery. So I like to say this all the time. I adopted this from a mentor of mine. He says, don't contribute to the wealth of the cemetery. Don't allow your idea to contribute to the wealth of the cemetery. You're going to have some amazing training today. I want to help you. Don't allow those ideas that spark up in your mind, spark up in your heart to just stay on the paper. I want to encourage you guys and ladies. I want to encourage you to not just allow the information that you hear to die on the page. You know why I'm sweating up here? Is because this right here is my passion. Everything within me, I ooze this. I started my business I started our family business when I was 10 years old. I started my own company when I was about 20 years old. After getting married and learning that my wife still required me to take out the trash, after we got married, I thought that was something that I got rid of when I was a teenager. I turned, get this, that idea into a six-figure business that was able to retire my wife. I'm telling you, this stuff works. Somebody say, it works.
It works.
I'm so passionate about this. So don't allow your idea to go into the grave. Here's the idea reality number 2. It's okay to start at your idea. Don't just stay at your idea. I think that we got through to that, okay? Now here's the reality. Ideas die when vision is not implemented. When you don't have an implementation of your vision, your ideas die on the vine, or they get buried in the cemetery, or they show up in the life of someone else. And that's a hard reality. To know that you could have been the first to market. To know that that book that you're writing could have been the first to sell out on Amazon. You could have been that best-selling author. But the reality is that life got in the way and you let your idea die on the vine, and it showed up in someone else's life, and now you're a customer when you should have been the business owner, when you should have been the entrepreneur. And so, how many of you want to learn how to turn your ideas into vision? Let me hear you make some noise. Okay. So I'm going to give you 4 things to write down, and then I'm going to give you 7 questions. I'm going to give you 4 things that you must have in order for you to turn your idea into vision, turn it into an actual tactical business, to turn it into something that you can actually touch, you can actually experience, you can actually grow and scale. I'm gonna give you the tools right now. Number 1, the first thing that you need when you are turning your ideas into vision, keep on going, is you need a purpose. Everybody say purpose. You need a purpose. Purpose is very important because the reason for your business will give you the ability to navigate through the foggy times of your life. It will give you the ability to navigate through the foggy times of your life. There's going to be life that happens. There's going to be things that happen. The bottom is going to fall out in specific industries. But if you're only in business for profit, you will fail. Yes. I will say that one more time. If you are in business solely for profit, you will fail, because profits do not, I believe, in my opinion, and what I've experienced and all of the people that I get a chance to coach, profits is not the thing that drives the visionary of the actual business. It's purpose. I know you see all of these brands underneath. You see Samsung. Does anybody have a Samsung in here? Okay. All right. How many of you actually have a superior device called the Apple? Let me make sure. Okay, all right. Come on, Samsung people. Come on. Listen, I'm a recovering Samsung user as well. And I learned that I went to AAA, I went to Apple Anonymous, or whatever the case is. Now I'm a lifer. But here's the thing. One of the things that I love about all of these businesses is that they actually have a purpose. Somebody scream purpose.
Purpose.
They have a purpose. Let me tell you about Apple's purpose really quick. It's not about profits. Listen to what Tim Cook said. He said, we believe we are on the face of the earth to make great products, and that's not changing. We are constantly focusing on innovation. Let me ask you this question. Did they say anything about profits in this statement? Did he say anything about margins in this statement? No. He said, my purpose on the face of the earth is to make great products. And he said, it's never changing. We're focused on innovating. I wonder, in your particular business, are you just in it for the profits, or are you in it for the purpose? Because if you're in it for the purpose, that is going to drive you through all of the lean days, all of the days that really absolutely suck. Because how many of you existing entrepreneurs are out there? Let me see your hands. All right. How many of you know it's not gumbos and rainbows every day? How many know you're not sipping mimosas on the beach every single day? It's work. Everybody say work. Work. It's work. And the thing that causes you to work, the thing that causes you to get out of your comfort zone, the thing that causes you to overcome the challenges is the purpose that you see beyond the profits. You got to see a purpose beyond the profits. You can't just stay at profits. You got to go deeper, and you got to go in purpose. Here's what I love what Simon Sinek says. He says, you know what? Everybody knows what they do. They know how they do it. But many people do not know why they do it. I was in a board meeting with if I was to say this company, you would know them. I was in there with some of their executives, their top executives. Many of them have been there for over 30 years. And there's this one particular gentleman who was retiring that year. They were giving him a lot of, they were heckling him a little bit because they recognized, hey, you're not going to be here, and giving him a hard time to say this is your last executive meeting. And I just got an opportunity to talk to him, and I said, you know what? Thank you so very much for all of the service that you gave for over the 30 plus years. Let me ask you this question. Can I ask you a question? I said, why were you here for 30 years? He said, it's a great company. I said, okay, good, wonderful. I'm grateful that it's a great company. But why was it important for you to work for a great company? Why was it important for you to stay? He said, well, I got a family to feed, and I said, okay, that's cool, that's wonderful. I said, but let me ask you this question. But why was it important for you to stay this long? And why was it important for you to stay, for you to start with this company? He said, hey, the reality is that it paid the most at that time. I said, okay, well, why was that important for you? And he said, well, because way back whenever I got started, they were doing all of these recruitments, and I just got started because I needed to get started. I said, well, why did you need to get started? And at this particular point, he's getting pissed off at me. He is getting mad. He's turning beet red. And I said, why is that important? I'm getting down into his face. Can I jump over here? I'm getting down into his face. And I'm saying, why was it important for you to start? And he said, because it was the only thing that I could do. I said, why was that important? And now he's in a full-on rage. He said, it's because my deadbeat dad ran off and left me and my siblings and my mom, and I was the sole provider. He started crying. I said, that's the purpose for why you start a business. That's the purpose for why you stay with something even though it sucks. That's the purpose. Somebody say purpose.
Purpose.
You gotta have a purpose. Don't start a business for money. Please don't. Amen. Do not start a business for money. I'm getting all, beside myself now, all right? Y'all want this or y'all want that? I want this. Okay, here we go. You gotta start because of purpose. It's not enough just to know what you do. Wonderful that you're a wonderful employee. Wonderful that you've been there for a long time. Wonderful. But why? Why is it? Why is it that you do what you do? What's the purpose behind you being here all day to get insight? Is it just so that you can miss out on class? Is it for you to actually just make money, to fire your boss, hire your boss, live a better lifestyle? I'm here to tell you that those days are going to come, but before you get to those days, you better have a purpose that drives you through the fogs of life. You better have a purpose on the inside of you that gives you a burning desire that says, my purpose is not connected to profits, it's connected to the people that are going to be a part of this process. That's only level one. Y'all ready to go to level two? Let's go to the next one. I'm sorry, I know you can't see me, but go to the next slide for me. So how's your why? Put that down on your notes. How's your why? I only have like 7 more minutes. How's your why? How is it? How is your why? If you to really, truly do an MRI on your why you started your business, would you find purpose? Would you find a person? Would you find a better service? Would you find a better opportunity for people to grow? Or would you just find profits and money and, looking like, Darkwing Duck or something like that, Y'all don't know what that is. That's too old. That's late 1900s for you guys. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Are y'all okay?
Yes.
Okay, vision requires a process. Everybody say a process.
Process.
One of my mentors, he's worth well over $500 million. He said, Torian, ignorance is old-fashioned. If you want to know how to do something, stop letting that stop you. Most people let the idea that they've been given stop them because, get this, they may not know how to do it. They don't know how to do it, so you have to have a process, okay? You got to go through the process, learn what it is in that particular industry in order for you to actually be successful. Okay, let's go to the next one. Got 5 minutes. Vision takes number 3, a plan of action. Here's another thing that one of the mentors told me. Things don't just happen, they must be planned. So here's a few questions that you got to ask yourself, okay? Let's go to the next slide. There's a few questions. 7 questions to ask yourself. Number 1, why do we exist? Why are we starting this business? Why am I starting this business? Why? Do not go to the next 6 questions until you answer this question. I'm gonna give you the rest of the 6. But you got to have purpose. Everybody say you gotta have what?
Purpose.
Number 2, you got to, go to the next slide, my sir. You gotta have people. To whom are we compelled to serve? Who am I compelled to serve? When I close my eyes and see my business, I see the face of a person. I see my customer. I see the person that I'm supposed to serve, okay? Go to the next one. It takes priorities. Somebody say priorities. You gotta have values in business. You cannot make a dollar just to make a dollar. You cannot start a business at the expense of your morals and your values. You're what we call incongruent. When you are incongruent, what incongruence is a person who says that they're about this, but they actually do this. It's a hypocrite. Do not be a hypocrite. You gotta have priorities, okay? Let's go to the next one. It takes passion. So I say passion. Passion. This is what keeps me up at night. This is what keeps me, developing and getting better. This right here. You guys, I'm passionate about this. What are you passionate about? What are you willing to go and look crazy for? What are you willing to do for free, whether they paid you or not? What's your passion? What are we on fire about? Next, here's the question that you have. Place. Are we in the right place, virtually, socially, and physically? You're gonna have some training on that today. And then lastly, here it is. Or no, second to lastly, you go to the next slide. A plan. What's our mission? And then lastly, here's the last question I want you to ask yourself. You go to the next slide. It is pathway. Is our offering, our product, or service generationally sustainable? You got to ask yourself this question. When I started this business, is this business only about me, my 4, and no more? Or is it about somebody who will come along 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years from now, 80 years from now, that's going to be able to point back to the spark of idea and vision that I had? You know who inspires me the most in business sometimes? It's Milton Hershey. Milton Hershey had this dream that he just wanted to provide chocolate, but it was beyond chocolate. He wanted to provide education for kids that did not have the opportunity. Milton Hershey has been long and gone, years upon years. But the reality is that his business, his vision is still living today. We think about Walt Disney, who started this amazing, wonderful amusement park years ago. But now we have the ability, generations later, to be captivated by the magic that lived in his heart. Let me ask you, are you building your business for a pathway that's going to reach generations? So once again, go to the next slide. You may be here, but I want to encourage you to keep on going, to keep on pressing, to keep on moving. Not to stop short, not to pull over on the side of life and deal with life and then get back to it. I want to encourage you to keep on going, keep on pushing, keep on growing, keep on learning, keep on going, keep on getting out of your comfort zone, because you're going to get to this next level right here. You're going to get to clarity, and let me tell you, where there is clarity of vision, there is an acceleration towards your goal. Thank you so very much, everybody. My name is Tori Scott. You can connect with me anywhere. It's been my pleasure.